I'm Deepika Thakur, and I welcome you all to the Cybersecurity and Forensic Conference by Brilliance in You. And for those who are new to our community, Brilliance in You is an international open community for emerging technologies like blockchain, artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, and computer vision, cybersecurity, and forensic science. Brilliance in You has conducted webinars, workshops, conferences, and summits related to articles and different research papers. And we provide open membership to all the people in our community. And we have a presence in over 10 countries worldwide. And today's topic is document and handwriting in forensic. And to present this topic, we have Suchitra Tarun with us, who is a certified forensic document and handwriting expert. So I welcome you to Brilliance in You, Suchitra. It's really great to have you here with us.
Hello, good morning, Deepika. Thank you so much for inviting me here. So let me give a brief introduction about myself. I'm Suchitra Tarun, certified forensic and handwriting expert from Bangalore. Well, I pursued this forensic document expertise in 2019 from International Forensic Science, Pune. Right from my younger age, I was interested in investigating field, which made me landed into this forensic document and handwriting expertise. Yeah.
Thank you for the kind introduction. And to begin with, my first question from you would be relevant to our topic. Can you explain us actually what document and handwriting is in forensic science actually?
Yeah, well, actually, the importance of forensic document examinations, when and where it is used, the discipline of forensic document examination is referred as question documents, which is frequently associated with the white-collar crimes, which we are seeing in today's world, like check frauds and various type of forgeries, then murder cases, then suicides, homicides, and chit fund cases and suicides, as I said you, then counterfeiting, like many more things.
Okay. And can you tell us what is the role of a document and handwriting expert in cybercrime? Probably you can help the audience understand with some example.
Yeah,
possible,
sure.
Yeah.
See, actually, forensic document examiners are most frequently asked to resolve the questions of authorships, like is a signature on the loan, mortgage loan, or genuine or not? Or who wrote the anonymous letter? Or did the dead person only sign the will before his death? Like these many documents will be related, like counterfeiting of currency notes, then suicides. Is a dead person only has written the suicide note, or some it has been the half murder or murder, whatever it is. It is been for the investigation purpose. People will approach the forensic document examiners.
Okay. And can you discuss what are the different types of documentation and handwriting cyber crimes which are occurring given the COVID-19 pandemic situation we have, that people are in lockdown? So what type of crimes are we usually coming across?
Yeah, this is, first of all, let me tell you, it is very pathetic that we are undergoing lockdown period. So with this lockdown period, we are getting many cyber crimes nowadays, which includes the phishing scam. Phishing scam means nothing but the hacking of the accounts, like might be the bank accounts, like me the privacies and documentation securities and signature digital signatures. And recently we got one case from US saying that a person cheated another relative using the check hacking, accounts hacking and all. So the next will be the online harassment, which we are seeing in many Indian families, like harassing the females and all. And next one is the cyber stalking. So somebody sitting in one place can extract the information. So these are all the things happening in this lockdown time. Cyber crimes.
It's really grave to listen all this actually. And
Yeah.
probably we would also like to understand that what are the different types of documentation and techniques in forensic science which are available, and probably can explain it in a little detail.
Yeah, sure. Usually, this scope of forensic expertise comes under many investigations, like the identification and a verification of handwriting analysis and signature analysis, which I said you on the suicides, chit fund cases, insurance, postal cases, like many, which are all the related to the handwriting, verification of handwritings. Then identification of indented writings, like invisible writing, we can tell. So a person can write invisibly on the checks, which is not, visible to the naked eyes. That can be investigated. And deciphering of additions, they can add something on the paper or the document, or the symbol can be altered. Then substitutions, then deletions. All these investigations can be done. And the process of ink, age of the ink, age of the document, age of the equipment, like typewriting machines maybe, or the desktops maybe, the cartridges, ribbons used there. These kind of things, we can investigate in document examinations.
It's actually really fascinating to know that you can even discover the cartridges used in it. So it's really very
Exactly,
interesting to
cartridges,
know.
even
Yeah.
ink. Yeah, ink, age of the ink also we can rectify. And the charred documents also we can investigate. And the shredded documents which has been stored also can be investigated. Yeah.
Okay, so there is no escape actually.
Yeah.
If someone commits a crime document.
Correct,
So we
correct.
have great experts like you to catch them. So,
Thank you.
so now, what is the most difficult part of being a forensic science expert? So as a
Yeah, this
person
is very
also,
critical.
as a person also, and as a woman also. So we would like to understand both the
Exactly.
aspects. Yeah.
Exactly. Yes, it is very critical and tough job, and very challenging job, I can say. So the most difficult part, what I feel, is the examples what we tell. Examples are nothing but the samples what we get. If we get the insufficient samples for the investigation, that makes very difficult for us to give the genuine report. For example, the question documents, what the court gives as for the investigation purpose, has to be matched with the samples. So if that samples are not in a proper sufficient manner, it will be a little bit difficult for us to extract the perfect information. That is one thing. Another thing is we have to be more cautious and more concentrated towards the investigations to give the relevant, perfect uh, um report. And another difficulty what we may face is from the opponent lawyer. They can track us in different ways when we go with our genuine reports. At that time we have to be very careful handling the twisted questions. That is the most important thing. So this is the difficult part what I feel.
Yeah. So can you elaborate more that how can the opposition lawyer track you actually? It's sounding a little interesting. So
Yeah, suppose there is a case, check bounce case, or the check altered case, okay, fraud case, and we are going with our investigations with our genuine reports. There, the opponent lawyer will track us, questioning on our investigation level. Investigation level means in what method we have done, and what kind of procedures we have done, and from which university we have expertise. These are all the genuine questions where we can answer. But the thing is, they can also flip to the psychological aspects. They can play with the psychology of a person. Supposing we are little bit scared, if we are little bit scared, they try to capture that scariness, and they will put the cross questions, so that we have to be very careful with the body language also while talking to the opponent lawyers. This is what very important is. And moreover, with the IPC sections and the Indian Evidence Act, which is very much important while we are discussing. So they may track with the IPC sections or whatever it is. So we should be very much clear in what case we are dealing with, and which IPC section of the Indian Evidence Act will associate with the case.
Yeah, I can totally understand, given not you also not to be an expert in your field, but also need to be expert in controlling your body language and be mentally strong actually to face all these hearings and cross questionings. So it's not
Exactly.
really easy. So have you faced any challenge, specifically being a woman, um,
Uh, mm,
or it's
yeah,
general?
only one. No, it is general. Actually, it is general.
Yeah.
Only one thing what I observed when I have been as a expert witness to the court is, the opponent lawyers, they feel that the accused itself is not a victim, or accused is not done any kind of a crime. They are just simply, blaming. That
Mhm.
kind of motivation they'll be having, and they'll argue with that. They'll argue with that as if nothing has happened, and simply the case has been lodged or whatever it is. So at that point of time, we should be very clear that what is the case we are you know dealing with, and what investigation we are doing, and based on that only we need to talk exactly, or else there are all the chances that opponent lawyers can track the talks also. In this way, I experienced one thing, that it should be very clear what we are talking, and of course I was very much successful in that.
Great. That's
Yeah.
really great to hear. And I hope there aren't any threats involved. It's like purely you doing your job.
Yeah, yes, we'll be having certain kinds of threats, especially we deal the high profile cases. Example of land mafias. Example, supposing it's a multi-crore land dealing, something like that, means I didn't get the direct threat till now, but indirectly I got some threatening calls from indirect persons, wherein
Okay.
I was very much I was very much you know cautiously knowing that this would happen. And I being connected to the high court and all, I just cross checked everything and got to know that it was an anonymous call. From that we got the cautiousness that yes, threatening calls will be possible. So other than that, I didn't experienced anything.
Okay. And if someone wants to become a document and handwriting expert, so how can one become one? And what are the
Definitely.
certification? What are the different type of certifications that are there in the industry, and what one should do? So
Yeah,
some guidance on that.
yeah, sure, sure. uh, Basically, people are still getting scared if they hear a word forensic. Why? Because it is a kind of a challenging profession, or the challenging field, where we have to be on toes on the investigations. Okay. So nowadays, because of the very few people in India, I'm not talking about certain region, wholly in India there are very few people, handpicked people in this field. So nowadays, this generation students, they are getting more and more impressed by the forensic science. And many of my students only, they are willing to go to the forensic science with the documentation only. The basic qualification of this is any stream, any degree with the science background, and masters in that, like MSc or whatever it is in forensics. And LLB will be the added advantage. If not LLB also, anyone can become the forensic document examiner. So I, being the science student, and I was into the medical field. I was into medical pathological field also. So I was used to the investigations. And as a handwriting expert, I thought, okay, let me, venture into the forensic documents, where it is very interesting and challenging for me to to do the investigation. So this gave the motivation for me to get into the industry. So I would suggest to students who are interested can go with this field, and there are high scope for this in India.
Yeah, actually, my next question was this only, that how did you get, actually being a science student, how did you get motivated to get into this field?
Yeah,
Yeah.
here, what happened is I am the master graphologist, also certified from California. So I am the CEO of Indian Institute of Handwriting. We are into the handwriting trainings basically. So what happened is suddenly a call comes from the court saying that they have sent the summons for the handwriting investigations. It happened. So I was really shocked to hear this. Why? Because I am not the forensic expert. So how come the court has been selected me for the investigation? Then after really cross-checked everything, then I found that in our city there are very few forensic people. They want the information from the handwriting people also. Then yes, I ventured into the investigation, and I said the judicial people, I'm not certified in forensic, but I gave the second opinion report. But fortunately, what they got the original report from the other city, and what my this one report was 90 to 95% it was matching
Wow,
without my
commendable.
certification. Yeah. Then the judge was very happy and she was impressed and she wanted me to pursue this course. Then I did homework for almost 1 year, whether if there is a
Okay.
scope for this or not. And study is not a matter, we can study, but what is the scope, that I have to know it. So I ventured into it. I got to know we are having very good scopes in this, and I studied for 1 year. I took the very critical study of online study, which offline we have to go for 2 years for the studies, wherein I opted for 1 year with the 20 subjects, which was very tough. While it is very interesting also, I pursued with very much distinction marks, and now I am certified as a forensic document expert, and I'm getting the cases. I'm very much happy with my field.
That's really great to hear that you have achieved a lot, and learning has no age
Thank you.
actually.
Yeah.
You can learn at any age you want. Normally, people think
Yeah,
now we have an
age,
established career, we don't need to study actually, but I think it's a
nothing of
continuous
that
process.
sort.
Yeah.
Age is just a number.
Yes, I totally
Yeah.
agree. And as you've already hinted a little, can you explain in more detail that what is the future job market in forensic industry given the Indian scenario, and if possible globally also, if possible?
Yeah, well, as I said, you forensic means only people were getting a backseat previously. But in today's generation, people want to venture. The students, this generation, children want to venture in all the kind, all the fields. And with the engineering, with the doctors, it has become wholly, it has become very common, very common. Wherever we see, we can hear engineer, we can hear the doctors, we can hear the MBS. And moreover, the people are, they are suffering with the jobs also. They are not getting the proper job according to their qualifications. So the forensic science is a different kind where we can venture into the investigations. We can be hired with the big departments, and we can do on our own also. And this is where, and we are having very few people, since we are having very few people in the industry. So people are opting for this new venture, and I would say this will become a very big hit, and it's having large and large scope in India, and not only India, even in globally also. We are connected globally also. As per the survey, we can survive with this forensic science henceforth.
Yeah, I think this will motivate a lot and lot people and youngsters out there to actually take this
Yeah,
as a career. And
correct.
thank you so much, Suchitra ji, for coming here
Thank
on
you so
Brilliance
much.
in You and sharing your valuable insights and enlightening people with your great knowledge. It's been a
Thank you so
pleasure
much.
having you over here.
Same here. Same pleasure. I'm very much thankful for Brilliance in You, and especially you, Deepika. Nice talking to you.
Same here.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah. And wishing you all goodbye, and hope to connect with you with next speaker soon. And till then, stay safe, stay fit, and be positive. Thank you all.
Thank you so much.